Hello, hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Skeptics and Seekers Sunday Sermon Shorts. I am having some issues of the technical variety that have absolutely nothing to do with anything. All right, here we go. I think. All right, let's see if I can do this. This is as BSC as it gets. Man says Jesus sent him back to earth after cardiac arrest at church. Oh boy. A 90-year-old man who suffered a massive cardiac episode and collapsed at First Congregational Church in Branford, Connecticut, said Jesus told him it wasn't his time and sent him back to earth as church members stepped in to keep him alive on Easter Sunday. The best way to remember is I go up into heaven and Jesus looks at me and says, "Hey, Walter, it's not your time. Back to earth." And that's when I ended up waking up, Walter Gay told WTNH. I'm just going to get a couple more quote clips out of here from the article. First Congregational Church pastor Joseph Perdue told CT Insider he was outside the church saying goodbye to people around 11:15 a.m. when Gay collapsed in the main foyer. The condition he was in when we started CPR, he wasn't breathing. He was turning blue. There's no pulse, Perdue recalled. None of us expected him to make it. Hello? None of us. This preacher, surrounded by some folks in his church, he just finished preaching, his big sermon on Resurrection Sunday, right? He's standing there, and none of them expected him to make it. They didn't believe the crap he just preached. I mean, come on, this is the preacher himself. He didn't say we dropped to our knees and formed a prayer circle right there and requested a miracle of God that we believed he had already done before he'd done it. Praise Jesus. No, that's not what he said. He said, we're looking at a guy who's turning blue. He's not going to make it. Screw this, man. No one thought to pray. Let's see who was there. A nurse, two nurse midwives, physician's assistant who were at the church when Gay collapsed, all jumped to administer CPR. Perdue also sent a church employee, a teen church employee, it says. Not just a church employee, a teen church employee. I feel like this is going to become part of a headline in a further Christian Post article. Just leave it right there. We'll revisit it. To grab an automated external defibrillator, an AED, which the church received in January, according to WTNH. And tell me, how great does your church have to be? I mean, how old are the members that people are giving you defibrillators as church gifts? Within just 30 seconds or so of his collapse, medical personnel had started CPR. And within 1 minute, they had hooked up the AED, and the AED immediately said to shock him. Perdue explained. Members called 911, and first responders took about 10 minutes to arrive. Laurie McLeod, a certified nurse midwife at Yale New Haven Hospital, who was walking out of church at the time. Gay collapse, told CT Insider she believes it was the AED that made all the difference in keeping him alive. It's just recap. Preacher standing around, surrounded by a bunch of medical types, and the preacher is saying, "Yeah, it's over. He's gone." And we check in again, and We've got, the medical professionals who were standing around and says, yeah, it was he was brought back. What is actually the defibrillator? What happened to give God all the glory? I mean, they must have been listening to my podcast. So congratulations on them. They didn't come out with any of that nonsense. It's like, nah, it's the defibrillator and all the medical professionals that get credit for this. um, let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's more that we could do here. In another take, I talked about other things, congestive heart failure and, memory loss and that sort of thing. But honestly, there really is only one question worth asking in this article. The question is not about all of the other Christians on Easter Sunday who had congestive heart failure at church and died. It's not about them. It's not about all of the atheists who had congestive heart failure and lived. It's not even about how terrible this article is and who on earth greenlit this nonsense that would not have made the paper in their local secondary paper. There's no story here. And I'm glad this person survived his congestive heart failure that day. He's 90. He's not going to survive a bunch of these. Okay. So this is not a story. I'm not talking about that, though. This is not journalistic criticism. It's actually the only part of the story that is the story. I go up into heaven, and Jesus looks at me. Stop. First of all, how you know you were in heaven and not just remembering the Grateful Dead concert that you were at in the 60s and maybe had too much substance, which led you down the path to this moment. But no, let's go with the heaven thing. And Jesus. How do you know it was Jesus, first of all? I'm sure there are a lot of long-haired people there. How do you know it's Jesus? Is he wearing like a name badge? Also, why is it always Jesus meeting people? He's got the doorkeeper job? He's really that bored that he just does the gate. Gives people a tour. Do they not have one low-level angel that can check people in, get the form signed, do the paperwork, assign the rooms? I died and bam, Jesus, right in the face. This, but even that's not the story. Sorry, we're getting to it. Hey, Walter, it's not your time. Stop. Here's the story. The man dies. It wasn't his time to be in heaven, though. But he was in heaven. How the fuck did he get there? Oh, God doesn't want him there. Jesus is like, oh man, people are constantly coming. This is another near-death experience. I can't get the plumbing in if I gotta keep answering the damn doorbell. You know that he's pissed because Jesus doesn't talk to him or anything. He just looks at him and says, it's not your time. Get the hell out of here. Go back to earth. He doesn't send him a mission. He doesn't send him a message of peace and hope. It's just, get the fuck out of here, man. You're not even supposed to be. How did you get here? So we learn from this story that heaven's security is shit. It's so bad. People just keep accidentally stumbling into heaven. Jesus has got to just say at some point, enough already. Will somebody fix the back gate? Just get out. It's not your time. So you can just kind of force your way into heaven. And why did the Christian Post write this? I know I said it was not journalistic criticism, but you've got to think for a moment like a journalist to understand the utter absurdity of this. Of all the stories that you can run with, and they had plenty, what was it about this story that said we're going to put it on the front page of the Post? What was it? What is the message of positivity and hope that they're trying to get? Okay, that everyone who dies goes to heaven? That ain't biblical. Maybe the message, though. Let's see. The message is you work all of your life. You believe as hard as you can. And now on your deathbed facing your bad death, you finally get to the pearly gates, except he skipped the gates, went straight in, but you finally get there and you open your eyes and it's heaven and it's Jesus. And instead of smiling, open, loving arms, is frowning Jesus saying, "What the fuck are you doing here, man? Get out." That's the message of hope. Shit. skepticsandseekers.squarespace.com. Log in your Discuss account and discuss away. Send me an email, skepticsandseekers@gmail.com. Until next time, I'll see you in comments. In the meantime, I'm out. I'm almost out.